proud members of the Podbelly Network.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, come on, you know I don't watch that shit.
Why not? Too scared?
No, it's just what's the point? They're all the same. Some stupid killer stalking some big-breasted girl who can't act, who's always running up the stairs when she should be going out the front door. It's insulting.
To Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
Stay alive. Maybe.
We are a horror movie comedy podcast, and we're going to tell you the entirety of a movie and spoil the fuck out of it.
Yeah, today I'm going to tell Kim a movie, and she's going to try to stay alive in it. So we'll see how that goes.
That's Ketrin Porter.
That is Kimberly Aaron Marie Maleficent Esquire Burns.
Ooh, I've got extra middle names now.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep adding middle names every time I introduce you. I wonder what your next one is going to be.
Jesus is the only one that acknowledges my extra middle names, but
I
thought
you were going to say that I thought you were going to say that I left out your other middle name, which is Jesus. And I was like,
True.
Damn, bitch. Okay. So hi, everybody. We're still in quarantine. We're still recording remotely. We're still alive, which, you know,
we are. Praise
is
be.
all that can be expected of anyone at this weird, weird time. And we're still bringing you episodes, hoping that it puts a smile on your face. You know, we're all just doing our best.
Yes,
We're all just trying to do our best.
How is your
Kim,
week?
I'm sorry,
No,
you said
tell
a
me
word
first.
that I'm not I'm not familiar
How
with
was
a word
the time
that you
period between now and the last time we spoke into microphones?
Yes, okay. I am drawing a blank. It's as if I did not exist till this very moment. It's a very weird phenomenon.
I understand. I feel
that
you.
is happening. I have done some weird things with my quarantine. It has some really weird side effects. One of them is that I can't seem to stop buying pillows.
That's a
throw
very
pillows,
special side effect.
Head pillows, couch pillows. I don't seem to be able to stop. And I can't really even tell you where that's coming from. I also have been painting lots of things in my apartment gold.
I love these side effects for you. They're really, really special.
Yeah, Kim saw me making candles. Actually, that one's cool.
That one is cool, and something you wanted to do before this anyway.
Yeah. So basically, like, I would get so annoyed when any candle would burn down and not light anymore, but there's still wax. So I've just been chiseling all the wax out of my candles, remelting it, and creating new candles. So Kim kept
I
me
love that
company
for you.
virtually while I did that. I've also been playing a strange game of chess with my landlord that Kim thinks I'm too passive aggressive about, but she's a real cunty bitch, and you know what? I gotta play the game.
I'm not sure if that description was about me or your landlord. I just expect you to be a cunty bitch back, I guess, but you do it in your own way. And sometimes I need that from you. Like, it's just not, we each have our strengths, and like, that's your strength, and it's not my strength.
Yeah.
And you've done it for me in the past when I needed you. And so I'm grateful that you have that strength.
And I've been playing this bitch since we moved in. I could smell her from a mile away. And I said to Eric,
what if she's a big fan of the podcast?
I
secretly
promise you
huge Sammy.
I promise you she is not.
Not anymore.
Here's why else I'm a sneaky bitch. all of our paperwork says Lauren, so she knows me as
oh, right.
She wouldn't even know how to find me otherwise. But I remember getting off the phone with her. I really wanted this fucking apartment 3 years ago, and we were going to see it. After one conversation with her, I said, Eric, you need to put on a button-down shirt. The collar needs to be popped a little bit, and I am going to put on a set of pearls. And he was like, but that's not who we are. And I was like, it's who we are today, motherfucker. And I was right. She complimented us on how nice we look and how we just seem like such a nice family to move in. And she shut down the rest of the applications at that point. So fuck y'all. I got this apartment with my pearls.
Well,
yeah.
I'm happy
anyway,
for
so
you.
that's what thank you. So what have you been occupying yourself with? What strange home decor have you been buying too much of?
I was just trying to think about that. I was like, oh, what like weird, quirky things are people doing? And I'm like, what am I doing? I can't think of a single thing that I've done in general.
I'm trying to think of something you've told me you've done.
Let alone quirky things. It's mind-boggling that an entire week has gone by and I can't think of a single thing.
I don't know. Well, one thing that you've been doing that has been really helpful for me is like you've been really learning a lot of technological things. Yeah,
but that's been forced upon me from the gods.
So has pillow buying.
True. You know what? True.
We're all just doing God's work.
Like I've been taking a lot of bubble baths, but again, I don't think that's specific to this time period. And I've been lighting a lot of candles. Candles have been very important. I bought flameless
How are you
candles.
feeling about
like
your
them.
flameless ones? You do?
Yeah.
Okay.
They include a flicker. And the flicker is key.
I had a suggestion for you actually. Does the flicker part get warm at all? Get hot?
By touch?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't touched it.
Touch
Why?
it, because if you do that, you can drop a little essential oil on it and the heat. So it'll be like you have a scented candle.
I like this idea.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I got you, girl.
Yeah, I sit on my porch sometimes. Then I really wow.
Think about life.
What am I doing with my life? I did do laundry. Haven't put it away yet.
Hey, good job. Laundry has been a huge source of stress for Eric and I. So, like, I'm very jealous that you can go down.
Right.
Like, obviously, it's not in your unit, but it's like, because you only have one wash. Yeah, like, and you only have one or two, right?
I have two.
So, there's, like, no way for you to be around other people, basically.
No, like I'm the only one doing it when I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So we looked for a like service, which is like obviously not something we would like ever pay for. We actually really like our laundromat. Like it's comfortable and spacious and whatever. But we like looked into laundry services and Eric was like, I can't justify spending $500 on doing my laundry because we had let so much pile up that like the price per pound, he was just like, I can't do that. It wasn't like 500, but it was definitely like in the hundreds. Yeah. And so he like fucking went today like a goddamn trooper, brought 3 loads of laundry, his own bleach, and like bleached all of the stuff that he was using.
That's smart. Yeah.
So I was very appreciative
good job, Eric.
of that.
I have been, sadly watching a lot of Married at First Sight because sometimes I was watching it last night. I have been dating. I guess that's probably taking up most of my time.
Okay,
my
good. I'm glad that you said that because, like, I was like, I'm
but
not
only one person.
She doesn't bring it up. Yeah.
But we talk a lot, so
yeah, that's been
that
big
takes
thing.
up a lot of my time. But he asked me last night. He was like, "How's your show?" And I was like perfectly mind numbing. Like that's why I like it because it's just like it just turns my little brain off. It's just
that's what you need. Yeah, that's what you need.
Just a little relaxing, mind numb. Yeah. What I did watch though, Apple TV is free right now for anyone who wants it. And I watched that M. Night Shyamalan show.
Fuck. That's what you told me to do. Thank you.
So good.
I knew there was something that you told me to do. Eric, we have to download Apple TV. It's free. Okay.
Everyone, this is your new homework assignment. Watch The Servant, and then we can talk about it next week.
Yeah, and what's great is he'll hear that just now, unless he's taking a nap. But then it's recorded, and we'll be reminded again when he goes to edit it to download it. Because I promise you I will forget in 5, 4, 3, 2, out of my mind.
Gone.
That's good that it's good.
Yeah, I love it. And then, just still talking to
Have you done any watch parties with him?
No. We downloaded some things, like the Netflix watch party and some things to try to do it on Hulu, but we haven't done it yet.
Okay. Cool.
But maybe we'll do that.
I'm loving our watch parties, by the way.
Yeah. So we, at this point, tomorrow in our present, have our Tucker and Dale one because we're recording on Thursday.
Yeah.
So
hopefully you guys did join us for.
And then this Friday in the listening present future, we're going to be live on Facebook. One of our friends does like a little Facebook live show. It's called Sims TV. So we're going to go live with him Friday at 7 Pacific Standard Time. It's facebook.com/simsman, SIMSMAN.
Yeah.
So that'll be, when you're listening right now, it'll be this Friday.
Yeah, obviously.
And I don't know what we're going to do. Probably like play some games and stuff like that. It's just like fun.
Yeah. We've known Sims for many, many years. So there's a lot of just, razzing each other and
we've worked on lots of projects together. Like he co-directed like a web series we made like crazily 10 years ago. I can't believe it's that long.
Can't understand that. I can't understand that.
And some other things that he's like made and we've been in, and like we did a live anniversary show that was really fun with just like sketch comedy.
But come check it out. We'll send out a link, obviously. But just come watch.
Put it in the show notes.
Yeah, you'll just get to hear Kim and I just fucking laugh and play stupid games with our friend. It'll be fun.
So what we always do.
So exactly what you're listening to right now. Cool. Let's see. I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I mean, literally nothing is happening in my life. So
yeah, I gotta be honest.
New to update.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm really proud of us, though, that we have found things to talk about for 13 minutes and 31 seconds. I genuinely thought
it's impressive.
Yeah, I genuinely thought it was going to be like, well, I guess I'll just tell you the movie. Nothing's happening.
I know. Like, I'm just like, literally, what have I done for a week? Guess it's nothing. Oh, I don't know. It doesn't matter. I was going to say.
Well, now you have to say it.
It was my niece's birthday yesterday because I was like, what have I literally done? But I was like, oh, it was my niece's birthday. They turned 5. Little twins.
That's little babies.
So we had a FaceTime. And then today would have been my grandmother's 105th birthday.
I saw that. Happy birthday, Mom.
Mom. I love her. She made it to triple digits. So she's my hero.
That's awesome. What a cute little lady.
I know. I love her.
She's very proud of you.
She is. And, I'm going to do my friend Tracy, who used to be my roommate, is making a little horror short film. So I'm going to do that, but like virtually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'll share that whenever it's done. We're going to shoot this weekend. So that'll be cool. I have like mega anxiety about talking about my boy now because now he has listened. And so now I like don't know what to say about it because that's
why I didn't want to say
listen.
Anything. Yeah, I mean, this is you, and ain't got a ton of shit going on, so guess you're the topic of conversation, guy.
I mean, there's not even much to like say about that either, because it's not like we're like still virtually talking, haven't met in person.
Yeah. But it sounds like he's been providing you with a lot of warm, fuzzy feelings during a very cold, lonely time.
That's a great description. That's very true.
You know, that's all anybody can ask for, right?
Yeah. He's pretty great.
So because of that, I approve.
What?
No. That was a quarantine approval. Not an official
like,
seal.
Catchin has learned the hard way not to give approvals.
No. That was a quarantine approval. He is nowhere close to an official seal of approval.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, good Lord, come on.
Oh, I was like,
whoa. If you're listening, sir, nowhere close to a full seal of approval. You will know when you have the full seal of approval. There will be a ceremony. There will be a gilded award. Yeah, a gilded award of some sort.
Wow, this is going to be quite the moment.
Oh, it's already planned. I can't. Or is it?
You must prove yourself first.
There's a physical and mental gauntlet that I'm erecting in my backyard. It's going to be intense.
I'm super into that, actually. I'd love to see a gauntlet go down.
Yeah. And you're just going to sit. You're going to sit at a throne at the finish line of the gauntlet, just like in like a really overly luxurious robe and crown. And he just has to make it to you.
This is just getting better and better. I'm super in.
Yeah.
Soups
it's
in.
Great. Cool. Do you want me to tell you a movie?
I do. This is we could probably cut this, but like all I can see of the video now is like you're so low, like you're so little, and like now the picture is really highlighted behind you. Like there's a photo or like a little thing hanging on the wall. So I just feel like I'm talking to this photo on the wall, and you're kind of like in the corner. I need to take a picture.
I know, it's because I have so many things that I need like in front of me that I was like, I need my space.
We forgot to gina holes out.
Oh yeah. I'm gina holesing you with coffee today. Gina holes out.
Tits up. Cheers. No White Claw today?
Well, I did this really stupid thing.
Oh, no.
Truly idiotic. So I guess I will just tell this story very quickly. I don't even know that I've shared it with you fully.
I can't wait.
I had to go to the doctor. I had a prescription that they would not refill unless they did a yearly checkup. Totally understandable. You know, a little nerve-wracking to go in this time to a doctor's office, that kind of thing.
For sure.
It was fine. They also weighed me against my will. And here's the thing.
I'm just picturing that as like part of the gauntlet of like you being held against your will on top of a scale.
It felt like that. And the thing is, it's like I've been really working on sort of loving my body for what it is.
Yes.
You know,
as you should, especially it's beautiful.
Thank you, Bernsey. But a lot of that work was predicated on the assumption that I would not use my scale because the number freaks me the fuck out.
Actually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I had been doing that and just really trying to like this part isn't a joke, trying to like stare at my body naked and just like rather than find all the things that I don't like about it, trying to find the things I do. Well, unfortunately, weighing myself just completely made me take like 10 steps backwards.
Right.
And so I was like, you know what? I do want to just like be more conscious of my eating, which I clearly wasn't. Like I was definitely like emotionally and bored eating. So I started
I definitely
Weight
have
Watcher.
some of that going on.
Yeah. So I started Weight Watchers again, just because I do in fact like their point system. I don't feel deprived on it. However, what I did not realize was when I did it last time, I wasn't in quarantine with nothing to do. So like the amount of White Claw I was drinking throughout the day. Kim, did you know that there are like a lot of Weight Watchers points?
No, I was actually going to ask that because I was like, White Claw to me seems like it would be like 0 points. it's like sparkling water.
It's like 4 points because there's alcohol in it. It's the alcohol itself. Like a shot is 4 points. Yeah. So I am trying to... Why am I telling you all this? I just want White Claw so fucking bad. But also the doctor weighed me against my will. And so now I'm having a real struggle happening inside my brain. So maybe my Sammys can help me. I don't know. I just want to drink White Claw all day.
That's a tough one. I mean, I understand your feelings. I really also want you to just drink White Claw all day. Like, I mean, it's tough times.
I know.
And I was like a tough time to be trying to Weight Watcher your White Claw intake.
I know. I also just feel like at the doctor's, I'm like, am I morbidly obese? No. Am I a skeleton walking down the hallway? No. Then why do we need to weigh me? Just visually look at me and see that I'm fairly normal and move on. That's what I think.
I'm no doctor, but seems to be like one of the basic things that they do every time. But I hear you.
I'm protesting it. Okay. Anyway, I have to tell you about this movie now. All right.
Great.
So
I'm excited because I don't know what it is. And I've already had to post the hint picture on Instagram with people guessing. And I'm like, I don't even know the answer yet. But there are two pretty strong guesses right now, like where most people are guessing one of two things. So I'm excited to hear.
Okay. So this is touted as a horror comedy. And I had so much fun with Kim's horror comedy last week that I was like, I want to do the same thing. Well, Burns, comedy should be in quotation marks, honestly. I would say it's sardonic, maybe, but comedic, no. So I watched Harpoon.
Harpoon.
Yeah.
That was one of the guesses.
I've been wanting to watch for a while. I don't know why. It's total torture. I just sharked and narked myself.
No. As soon as I basically text Kendra and I was like, send me a picture as a hint for your movie since I don't know what it is yet. She sends me a fucking boat. And I was like, no, I don't want to go on a boat. I don't want to go on a boat.
And you don't want to go on this boat either. But there are some very important boat lessons that we can take into our next boat experience.
Great. That's great. Okay.
All right.
The other big guess was ghost ship. Have you seen that?
No, but no.
I don't think I have either.
No.
A lot of people guessed that.
Sounds right at my alley. Sounds fun.
Oh, and then one person did guess. This was a pretty great one, especially since you're the one telling the movie. They picked the 1987 Overboard.
Oh my God. Which, honestly, one of my favorite movies ever. But if you just lay out the premise of it,
not great.
It's a horror show. It's a
real straight kidnapping.
Yep. With some full-blown, very upsetting Stockholm syndrome. It is devastating. Maybe we'll do Overboard for an episode.
I thought that was funny. I was like, I mean, that is Ketrin's favorite movie, so you're pretty
fucking
close.
love that movie so much. Okay, here we go. You'll be happy to know that there are only 3 dead or alive.
Oh, great. Well,
Okay.
Now I feel more pressured. Gosh, I wanted to be happy, and then I felt more pressure.
No, think of it this way. The most you could possibly get wrong is only 3.
Which would be 100% wrong.
Right. But it won't affect your total score as much as
right. Okay, great. Yeah, so in the total score,
saying?
way less. Okay, that did make me feel better.
Okay, Jonah.
Alive.
Sasha.
Dead.
Richard.
Dead.
Best score you've ever gotten. I mean, not 100%.
Oh.
Not 100%. Obviously not 100%.
But not zero. Is what you're saying.
But not zero. Yeah.
Okay, great.
No.
Honestly, I just wanted more than zero.
Yeah, no, you got 2/3 right.
Oh my God.
You got the majority right.
Great. That's great for me.
You did great. Okay, here we go.
Just high-five myself.
So the structure of this movie, there is a narrator. We don't ever see the narrator. It's kind of an Arrested Development type structure in that the narrator provides us with important backstory. And like the action will freeze frame for the narrator to come in and Zach Morris / Ron Howard us different points in the movie. Okay.
We freeze frame. This is okay. That's fun.
Yeah. Okay. So starts with camera panning over a yacht that has SOS on the bow. And it's just a tiny little yacht in the middle of the ocean. And the narrator is saying, Aristotle...
SOS on the bow, as if that's like the name of the boat, or it's
no. SOS,
I'm in danger,
like
save me.
Help me. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Got it.
Yeah, like help me.
I was like, that's a poor name for a boat.
It's or a great name for a boat. That
could go either way.
Constantly people are just coming by going, you good? And you're like, yes, I am good. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. So Aristotle says that there are 3 kinds of friendship. This is what the narrator is saying. Friendship of utility, meaning like a coworker, something like that. Friendship of pleasure, in the sense that you enjoy each other's company. And a friendship of mutual and deep respect. So it would be like, I associated it with like a coworker, an acquaintance, and a best friend. Like,
they actually talked about this in my success course at Wharton Business School.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
The narrator says he proposes that there are other forms of friendship as well. The friendship he brings up in this case, the narrator says, I think there are other types of friendship as well. For instance, the friendship of history, which he explains is friends with whom you have grown with and stay in acquaintance with just because. He's like, I equate this type of relationship to walking into a grocery store with a life jacket on, and somebody says, why do you have a life jacket on? And you say, because I was on a boat yesterday. Meaning you don't need the life jacket anymore if you were on a boat in your past. Okay. So it's like friendships of history don't necessarily mean that the relationship is still serving you, basically, is the idea.
Okay.
So now we panning down onto the yacht with SOS written on it. Then we cut to someone who is clearly moving. He's taping up boxes. He's putting things away. He's chain smoking. And he's looking at a picture of him with his parents. And he's kind of looking at it forlornly. And the narrator says to us, this is Jonah. That's a picture of him with his parents. This is the best picture ever taken of the 3 of them. And they all look miserable. Nothing. Basically, he says, like, nothing Jonah ever did was ever good enough for his parents. They never had a good relationship. He tried to, help their relationship and took them on a vineyard tour around the country. But at the last vineyard, they died in a horrible car accident. And he finds out that their final fuck you was they left him with basically nothing and tons of debt. So the little bit of money that he was left, the little bit of money that he was left, he spent on a prostitute named Jolene, but didn't even fuck her. He just talked all night with her, kept her up, and then she robbed him. So,
oh my God. Oh, he's having a tough time.
Yeah, so Jonah's backstory is rough. So that's Jonah. Then we see Jonah pick up his phone and it says, Richie calling. It cuts to Richie driving and he's like, hey man, I'm in the area. I just thought I would stop by. Are you around? And Jonah's like, yeah. why are you calling and not texting me? And he's like, oh yeah, I'm just in the area, gonna stop by. And Richie's like, or Jonah's like, yeah, okay, whatever. So Richie then hangs up the phone and he starts losing his mind with anger, like screaming and slamming the steering wheel and being like, that fucking piece of shit, like just screaming his fucking head off.
Wait, this is Richie?
Richie, yeah, who just called Jonah, yeah. So this is where the narrator comes in and introduces us to Richie. And he says, Richie is very wealthy. And he spends all of his money on his friends, but is prone to fits of rage. For instance, he's the kind of guy who threw his computer into a TV because he forgot the computer's password. So I guess what I'm saying is I relate.
I was like, that reminds me of a friend of mine.
Yep. I beat you to it.
Although, to be honest, one time I got real mad, threw my phone, but I threw it onto my bed because I was like, I don't actually want to break it. But I was like, got off a phone call or whatever and was like, rawr, and like threw my phone and it bounced off my bed onto the ground but my laptop was on the ground and it was open and it like smashed onto my laptop, like right where the mouse pad is, and like broke part of the mouse pad. Wow. That'll teach ya. That's like, very I'm sure that made you feel so much better since you were already in a rage. Exactly. Like I was like what the fuck? It literally bounced off the bed and then shattered a part of my computer, and I was like, great. Everything's great.
That is definitely a Richie move for sure. Okay, so that's Richie. Richie now pulls up to Jonah's door. Jonah opens the door. Richie comes in and immediately punches Jonah in the face and just starts beating the shit out of him. And when I say beating the shit out of him, I mean punching to kill. Not like how you'll sometimes see guy best friends who like get into a little scuffle and hit each other or whatever. Like,
right.
You could tell that Richie like lost his fucking mind, like a fucking flip switched. So at this point, Jonah looks like he's about to die, and a girl comes in. Her name is Sasha. We then get a narration of who Sasha is, and the narrator says she's a military brat. She's Richie's long-term partner, though her family disapproves of how sort of like wealthy and elite Richie's family is. Sasha doesn't have any problem accepting like the lavish gifts that he gives her and things like that.
Sure.
And it definitely seems like a toxic relationship in the sense that once she was a witness to a hit and run but failed to show up in court as the witness because she got drunk with the two boys instead. She feels really guilty about it and now works in a retirement home during the day and spends her evenings and weekends refereeing the two boys.
Sounds like they are living their best lives.
Yeah, if your best life is toxic codependency. Correct.
Right.
So at this point, Sasha pulls Richie off of Jonah, and they end up accidentally spilling the urns of Jonah's parents everywhere.
Oof.
So the ashes are now everywhere. And Jonah is so bloody, like in his face, just so bloody. And he's like, what the fuck, Richie? And Richie says it's because of texts that suggest Jonah and Sasha fucked. And Sasha comes in and is like, you're such a fucking idiot. They were about your birthday present, which we were on the fence about whether or not we should give you. And that's why we were saying, like, don't tell him about it. I can't believe what we did last night. We bought you a fucking harpoon for the boat. Here's your fucking present, asshole.
Right.
So then Richie comes down from his anger and he just goes, oh no. And then we get a title card that says Part 1, Even Stevens. So now we cut to Richie begging them for forgiveness. And they're in the car with Richie. Richie is driving. Jonah and Sasha are in the back. And the narrator says, this is their common dynamic. Richie begging for forgiveness for losing his temper. Jonah retreating inside and convincing himself that the world is out to get him. And Sasha playing referee. So Richie's version of an apology is to have a lavish trip on his family, on their yacht as an apology. So like it's them walking out to the dock to get onto the naughty buoy. Get it? I also think we might need to add Richie to the list of names that are chatty. Yeah. Richie, Richard. It's just not. There's just other names out there. You know what I'm saying? There's just other names.
I feel like there's a Richard in one of our movies. It's feeling familiar, but I can't picture it right now.
Yeah, there's also just so many nicknames. Like Richie just shouldn't be it. You know what I'm saying?
Especially if you're rich.
Especially if you're rich. Yeah, it just doesn't. It's not going to bode well. Okay.
Didn't you have a boat name picked out? What's your boat name?
Aguamenti, which is the spell for water in Harry Potter. Yeah. Someone pointed out, they were like, isn't that bad luck? Because then your boat will fill up with water. I was like, no, idiots. It's because the water is buoying my boat, you fucking idiot. Got into a fight about it. But I am rethinking the name.
How much have you talked about your boat name with people?
I mean,
that you've gotten fights about it.
It comes up whenever
for
I
your
see
non-existent boat.
I gotta say, I don't know why, but I've had at least a half a dozen conversations about it.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
I don't have a boat name. Boat names they're all dumb. They're all pretty bad.
That's kind of a requirement. It's kind of a requirement. Yeah, you have to have like a punny boat name. That's kind of stupid.
I'm just gonna call mine dumb boat name.
Dumb boat name. I love it. Oh my God. I would love to fucking walk into a harbor and see someone's boat called Dumb Boat Name. That's fucking amazing. Okay. So Richie is bringing a bunch of groceries, like booze, onto the boat. And as they're going like down into the below deck part of the boat where like the living quarters are, he drops a bunch of beers and he's like, a little help. And both Sasha and Jonah just like look at him and don't help. Then Jonah goes to like pick up some cans and we think he's going to help. And really he just grabs a beer, pops it and starts chugging it. Like they're both still like super pissed at him. So he keeps trying to apologize. Sasha and Jonah like aren't taking it. And Sasha and Jonah are definitely like on this little team together. And that's when they bring up the idea of even Stevens. So they say that they both get a free punch. And so Richie agrees. Okay. Yeah, Richie agrees. And he's like, no balls, though. And Sasha's like, no, you can't tell us like where we're going to hit you. That's the whole point. And she's like, and you have to close your eyes and you have to put your hands behind your back. And he's like, but it behooves you to avoid these guys if you ever want little Richards one day. And she's like, stop saying the word behooves and also close your eyes. So Jonah gets to go first.
Can this be how we handle disputes from now on? You just get one punch?
Love it. It's great. Perfect. I'm into it. So Jonah goes first and he punches in the stomach as hard as he can. Now it's Sasha's turn. She gets up and she hits him as well, and she hits him so hard that he almost throws up. She punches him like right in the face.
Hey girl.
Yeah, and it was definitely like he wasn't expecting to be hit that hard by a girl, but bitch can throw. So
bitch.
She then kind of holds his face and they have a moment, just the two of them. And she says, "Are you sorry?" And he says, "Yes." And she says, "For everything?" And he says, "Yes." So now we cut to them on the yacht on the open sea. Jonah is dumping his parents' ashes into the water and then decides to just throw the whole fucking urn in, like to just be done with them, basically. He then cracks a beer and walks off. So we now cut to a slow-mo drinking montage of the three of them playing golf off the bow, which really upset me. Those golf balls could hit a fish and kill them, and that's really fucked up. And then we see them fishing, and we see Sasha sunning on the bow. And they're looking at the shoreline, and one of them is like, "Do you think someone could swim that far?" And they're like, "No way." Like, "Do you think you could swim from the boat to where they can see the shoreline?" But it's like very, very far away.
Okay.
And Richie then says to Jonah, who it's just the two of them at the stern of the boat, and Sasha is by herself on the bow. And he says Jonah says to Richie, "What made you think that we were messing around? Like, it can't just be a series of texts." And Richie says, "Sometimes it feels like you care about her like I do." And they kind of have some back and forth. And then Jonah asks Richie, "So, like, when are you going to stop fucking around?" Suggesting that Richie cheats on her as well. And
I have so many feelings about that.
Richie then deflects and says, "I'm not taking relationship advice from you. You fuck prostitutes." And Jonah's like, one time I fucked a prostitute. And then Richie says, "The other night when you guys were fighting and you stopped talking when I came in, what were you two fighting about?" And Jonah says, we never saw that fight. This happened outside of the movie.
Okay.
And Jonah says, I don't remember. Probably about your extracurricular activities." And Richie says, "What did you tell her?" And Jonah says, "Nothing." And he says, "But we do accuse people of doing things that we do ourselves." And then Richie just takes a swig and they sit in silence. So basically he's saying, like, you're accusing us of fucking around because that's something you would do. Not because you actually have evidence that it's happening.
Ooh, deep cut. That's true.
Yeah.
Quite often, so that's a mirror to ourselves.
Yep. The things that annoy me the most are the things that annoy me about myself.
Correct.
Okay. So now we cut to Richie.
But also, what a fucking Chad for, like, fuck you, dude.
I'm telling you, Richie's
fuck you for like
Chads.
Fucking around on her, and then on top of it being like, "Oh, you can't fuck around." I don't know, just so fuck.
No, I completely.
So many things.
I literally know dudes. Well, I don't associate with them anymore, but in my past, I have known dudes who like literally would like get blowjobs from chicks at parties and then like lose their mind if their girl even like spoke to another dude.
Right. Yeah. Fuck
and like
you, Chad.
And you would literally like point out the dichotomy of that, and they would just basically say like, "It's different for girls." Like that would be
I'm a fire-breathing dragon.
So Richie comes over to Sasha on the other side of the boat, and he's holding his harpoon. And there's this like ongoing joke where Sasha calls it a harpoon, and Jonah and or Richie corrects her and calls it a spear gun. It's like an ongoing callback.
What is there a difference? I need you to explain the joke to me.
No, I don't think I do. I think that's it. It's that she calls it something and they have to correct her a bunch of times.
Oh,
Super.
okay.
It was, yeah, that was it.
That's funny.
It's a comedy horror movie. So
that reminds me of like sometimes I would go on dates with people like that fucking sociopathic monster that I went out with like a month ago.
Oh yeah.
And like they'll tell a joke, but you won't laugh. And then, or you're just kind of like, and then they'll be like, it's always with that attitude of being like, oh, like I just like say what I want, and like if people don't like it, like it usually comes with an attitude of like I have specific type of humor, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Or like
if you don't get it,
I
that's
offend
on you.
people, blah blah blah, or something. And they'll be like, "Come on, it's a joke," and I'm like, "No, I understand it's a joke. I'm getting the joke. It's just not funny.
It's just not funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I.
That's on you.
Right.
And they're going to come on, like, and I'm like, no, but nope. I get it. It's a joke. It's great when you have to tell people it's a joke, though. It's a great joke.
Yeah.
Then.
So I feel like that's
always
like
a good
something
sign.
that. Yeah, the writers, there must have been like some inside writers' room joke, and they were like, "We'll put that in the movie," and I'm like, "Yeah, sometimes you got to edit." I don't know. So anyway, so he comes over and he's like, "Do you want to see me shoot it?" And she literally is like, "Sure, yeah, cool. Let me see you shoot it." And he just like shoots it into the water like a little kid with a Nerf gun. And she's like, "Cool. All right, now move. You're in my sun." And like makes him move. And then he's like, "Are we good?" And she's like, "We're good." But in that way where I'm like, "You know you're not good, right?"
Mm-hmm.
She said you're good, but she don't mean you're good.
But she said also that you're not good.
Exactly.
Harpoon Speargun includes like you shoot it and it's like connected to a string thing, right? So it comes back to you.
Correct.
Okay. Maybe that is a difference between them. You know what? Let's post-mortem a fucking Harpoon Speargun situation.
Fucking post-mortem this super funny callback joke. Okay. So
what if that is the difference? Like one of them is connected to a rope or something and the other one isn't. Yeah. But that's like a real deep cut joke.
Or what if it ends up being something where it's like so fucking hilarious and I'm like, no, that was actually like the funniest joke I've ever heard.
Except
I
we
just had to research it for 20 minutes.
First. Yeah.
Okay. So as this conversation is happening, we see Jonah on the other side of the boat catching a fish, like with a fishing line. Richie then asks her what was the fight about that she and Jonah were having. Her answer is that she says it was a fight about the gift. And Richie says, "So you weren't talking about our stuff?" And she says, "No, we never talk about that." We then hear, like, in the soundtrack that Richie's temper switch has been flipped. Like, you can kind of see that, like, his heart rate gets faster and we kind of hear I called it the heartbeat of rage, okay? Ooh. So he looks over at Jonah, who's like, "Look at my big fish!" And...
That was great. That was great, Catchin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then
I wish you guys could have all witnessed that with me, but
she
was very excited. She held up the fish. She was very happy.
Yeah. So then we hear heartbeat of rage. And then we see that Jonah, so like he pulled it in, it's hooked, but then he's like beating the fish because it's like a big fish. It's like this, oh, you can't see my other hand. Hold on. It's like it's out of frame big is what I'm saying.
Got it. So the travels of recording, guys, with physical distancing.
We're still learning. So he's like beating the fish, which I'm like, I just hate fishing, I guess. Like, I'm like, I guess you have to kill the fish, but I'm also just like, because the other option is that they just drown for a long time on your deck. I get it, but it's just like, how about we just don't, I just don't like it. Let's just not fish.
I know. I bet there's a more humane way. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it bummed me out. So Jonah beating the fish, Richie then starts walking over to Jonah with the harpoon spear gun menacingly. And he's looking out over Jonah, who is beating the fish. Jonah then turns, sees Richie standing there with the harpoon, and Richie says, "You have 3 seconds to tell me what's going on. 1, 2, 3. Question number 1, you can be Jonah or Sasha. What do you do? And what does one of them do? You can pick who you want to be." Actually, no, be Sasha.
Sasha. Mm-hmm. So we're all like on the same area, like she's watching this basically.
Yeah.
Okay. She okay. I think that she is like, "Richie, what the fuck?" and like tries to stop him.
Okay. So she says, "Richie, what the fuck?" and tries to stop him.
I think so. At least like gets up. Like, I don't think she's like running for the harpoon or anything, but I feel like she's like, "What are you doing?" kind of thing.
Okay. And what do you do?
I
break up with him 6 years ago?
Oh, I didn't know that time travel was an option. I would like to get to my time machine. Okay. I want to stay alive. Oh man, god damn, just fucking. Is he? But he's got a spear gun and stuff. I'm gonna let whatever the fuck is happening there play out. Like, maybe he shoots the spear gun, maybe he doesn't. Okay, wait. If he shoots the spear gun, I'm gonna charge at him and push him over the edge.
Okay.
I just don't need his crazy town-ness in my life.
Okay. That's okay.
But if he keeps the spear gun, I don't want to charge him. So I'll still just let it play out.
Okay. 0 points.
Wow.
Sorry. Because we're going to learn something about both of those options that you had that would have made you end up dead or stranded. So,
great.
What she does, she sneaks up behind Richie and knocks him out with a liquor bottle.
Oh, okay.
So she knocks him out with a liquor bottle. And then Jonah says to Sasha, he knows. They realize their stories didn't match, and that's why Richie went into a rage. At that exact moment, Richie wakes the fuck up and punches Jonah off the boat.
Oh, shit.
And he starts losing his mind, and he's like, I fucking knew it. I fucking knew you guys were fucking behind my back. So now Sasha is holding the harpoon. She's picked up the harpoon since he had been knocked out, and she's holding the harpoon / spear gun at his gut. And they're both struggling. Like, he's holding one end, she's holding the other. And she realizes that, like, she can't pull the trigger while he's holding it where he's holding it. And so they both look down at his balls, and he's like, not the balls. And she kicks him in the balls.
Nice.
The harpoon then goes off right as Jonah is climbing back on board and puts his hand over the side. The harpoon spear shoots directly into his hand and like pins Jonah into the boat.
Ow.
Sasha is then just like in shock, like staring at it. And she drops the gun and runs downstairs to try the radio. So she's just like, fuck, like, what the fuck is happening? At that point, Richie gets back up after having been kicked in the balls. She finds her trying to like communicate on the radio. He fucking pulls the whole goddamn radio out of the fucking wall.
Great.
Like a rageful fucking idiot. So
there's like no captain or anything of the boat. Like,
no.
Like Richie was driving it or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just the three of them on the boat. So at that point, Richie turns to Sasha and starts choking her and screaming at her, why him? And Sasha is straight up dying. She is dying. At that point, Jonah, we see, is pulling the harpoon out of his own hand. Sasha is dying. Jonah comes up behind Richie at this point, and he knocks Richie out as well. So this is 2 fucking knockouts for Richie in a matter of 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha then collects herself and says to Jonah, when he wakes up, we're both dead. The narrator then comes back in and says, I feel like I should maybe tell you guys about Richie's dad real quick. And he says, Richie's dad is the reason that Richie has 6 figures in his bank account at all times. He's also the reason for Richie's violent temper. And he's like, I really can't think of anything nice that Richie's dad has ever done for anyone else, except for this, and it's not really even that nice. In 1st grade, Richie's 1st grade teacher was accused of touching kids inappropriately. During the investigation, the teacher mysteriously disappeared the same weekend that Richie's dad and his colleagues took a little weekend trip. End of narration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, Jonah then says to Sasha,
this is hilarious. Gosh, it's so funny.
Isn't it so funny? Like, I feel like they were like trying to say that it was funny because it's got this kind of like Arrested Development narration thing happening.
Like the quirky narration thing. Yeah.
But I'm like, no, I have yet to laugh. Except for that super hilarious harpoon speargun callback.
It's different when the quirky narration is about pedophilia and murder. So, you know.
Right?
Tough.
Yeah.
It's a tough subject.
Yeah.
Tough subject.
So at this point, Jonah says to Sasha, let's just tell him the truth when he wakes up that we're sleeping together. And Sasha says, slept once. And he's like, well, yeah, right. I mean, you know what I mean. So we now cut to Richie on the bow of the boat, still knocked out cold. And we see Jonah and Sasha on the other side of the boat. So all 3 of them are on the bow, but Richie is laying on one side of the bow, and Sasha and Jonah are standing on the other side of the bow. And like between them at the very point of the bow would be where like Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet would be playing
I'm King of the World.
You see the configuration now? Okay.
So they're on just either sides of the boat near the front.
Starboard and port, basically, but towards the front. So Jonah,
I mean, you lost me when you said boat terms. I was like, I don't know. Now you've lost me.
Sorry. That was my bad. So at that point, Jonah is like talking to Richie's unconscious body, And he's being like, I mean, if that's where you want to lay down, guy, you're pretty drunk. I hope you don't fall off, but by all means, rest there. And Sasha is like, and Sasha's like, what the fuck are you doing? And he's like, I just want to make sure that we can pass the lie detector test. So like, he's basically like, he was just laying there. Sasha then says his dad, or Jonah then says, I mean, regardless, his dad is still going to kill me. And Sasha says to Jonah, listen, Richie has $8,000 in a safe in his closet. The combo to the safe is the last 4 digits of his phone number. And tells that to Jonah. So now they both see that Richie is not falling off the boat, but they both want to pass the lie detector test should they be asked, but they need him to fall off the boat. So question 2, Kim, what do you do and what do they do?
So he's just like by the edge of the boat?
By the edge of the boat, yeah. Very near the edge of the boat.
But they want to pass the lie detector test.
So they need him to fall off on his own. But he's unconscious. This is a physics question. And a sailing question. So
2 of my
your
strong
expertise.
Look, if it doesn't involve chainsaw sounds, I got nothing.
You got it. They both make really loud chainsaw noises.
And
it
then
scares him so much that he
the
falls
audio
off,
waves
wakes
of
up.
that just are so miraculous that it pushes him off the edge. Physics sailing question. I don't know that I've ever been sailing.
But you've seen a boat
I've been
experienced
on a boat, but not a sailing boat.
I'm on a boat, motherfucker, on a boat.
I've been on a couple boats. I've been on some boats.
Yeah.
But not sailboats.
Sure.
Although I guess this isn't a sailboat either. It's a yacht. Right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Good. Glad that we said
clarified.
That helps.
Kim's like, well, I have a lot more experience with yachts, so
that really I'm glad that really helped me. Great. Cool. Physics. So maybe they turn the boat in one direction real quickly. So it kind of, he rolls off.
Jostles it. Okay, that's what they do.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Fuck it. Let's do it hand in hand. I don't know.
That's 2 half points.
Okay.
So you had the right idea. They need to make the boat move without them moving his body. So what Jonah starts doing is he starts doing really deep squats. And Sasha is like, what are you doing? And he's like, gotta get your exercise in. Gotta get those squats in. And she's like, what are you doing? And then she notices that it's rocking the boat. Because they're on one side. And you can, if there's 2 people on one side of the boat.
I'm not understanding how big this boat is. In my brain, it's big.
No, it is big, but you can jostle a fucking boat, especially if you're standing on the bow of it. Like, you can definitely make a boat. It's like a small yacht, but it's still a yacht.
Okay.
And I would say the bow.
Some aggressive squatting, though. Like, at least you jumping jacks or something.
It was no, because you need the weight. You need the like the
like
weight
a jump
of
squat. I would go more for a jump squat myself.
Sure,
but whatever.
But it's like the distance between them and him is like 2 couches, basically.
Okay, right?
Because they're towards like the tip. So they start doing squats, and the boat is splashing and splashing.
That's kind of funny. I'll give that to them. That's kind of funny. I'll give it to them.
I think I told it more funny.
Okay.
Then, yeah. Honestly,
I'm like just picturing that. Like, that's kind of silly.
No, yeah, it's a little silly. So he finally fucking falls off. So
I don't know why that made me laugh. think I told it more funny.
Yeah, it was, I'm a fucking comedian. I don't know what to tell you. So he falls off, but they hear a bunch of splashing. Not just a single splash, multiple splashes, and some coughing. So they pick up the harpoon, and slash spear gun, and they look over the side. And falling into the water has woken Richie up. And he looks at them as he's splashing around in the water, and he's like, you guys were gonna fucking kill me? And Jonah and Sasha are like, you were gonna kill us. And then Richie comes back with, because you lied to me about cheating. And then Sasha's like, because you cheated on me. Like, so it's just going back and forth of this even Stevens thing. And then Richie finally is like, fuck you, you fucking cheating bitch. And she's like, you did it first. And he's like, that was a year ago, whatever. So at this point, Sasha and Jonah are like, let's just get the fuck out of here. Richie in the water realizes he has something in his pocket. He has the fucking keys to the boat. So these bitches aren't going anywhere without him. And he's still in the fucking water.
Oh, God.
So question 3, as Richie now, what do you do and what does Richie do? Or what does he tell them to do or whatever?
Oh, he like fucking lifts the keys out of his pocket and he's like, hey, motherfuckers, good luck getting anywhere without these keys that I'm the only one who has.
Okay. And what does he do after that?
And he's like, bring me back on the boat. What does he do? Like he does something?
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
And then
nobody trusts each other.
He's like, let me back on the boat. I promise I won't kill you.
Okay. And what do you do?
Let's promise each other not to kill each other. Let's call it even Stevens.
Okay. And what do you do?
Oh, my God. I'm Richie. I mean, just fucking kill myself. Like, what is... God, I'm a monster. I'm gonna... No, I'm just kidding.
I'm
but
so
for
excited
real,
for
like,
you to hear the rest of this.
Get some hashtag therapy. I mean, can I get a therapist in this middle of the ocean here? Because I need it.
Yeah.
I'm a monster.
They're called maritime therapists. They're marapists.
I'd like one, please. One marapist, please. No, that's not my real answer.
Okay.
What
if I had been like,
Unless you were going to give me a point for it, then I'll say yes.
I assure you I was not.
I mean, I think I do basically the same. Like, I think I clearly have the fucking orange
upper hand
monster card.
Orange monster card. Oh, instead of the... I like that.
We gotta name that something else, eh? Just change that word.
I know I don't like using that word either, but I'd never been able to figure out how to replace the word when that's what I meant. But I really like saying he's got the orange monster card. That's fucking great. I was saying trumpet card, but then I was like, that's so rude to trumpets.
Right. So yeah, like I have the power basically. So I'm gonna showcase that. I'm gonna tell them I have the key. And they need to help me, like, throw me a fucking life preserver. Is that what they're called? Life preserver?
Sure. Life.
The little circle.
Preserver.
The little circle.
Yeah. Life preserver. Yeah.
Like, throw me one of those and bring me back on the boat. And I promise, like, let's call it even Stevens and not kill each other.
Okay. That's 2 half points again. He does make a pact with them that is exactly what you said. Let's promise for all 3 of us not to kill each other. Also, I'm not getting back on... This is the part you missed. Also, I'm not getting back on the boat until you guys throw everything off the side that could even potentially be used as a weapon. So he makes them throw away the harpoon spear gun, the kitchen knives, the empty liquor bottles, the full liquor bottles, anything that could potentially be used as a weapon, he makes them throw off the side of the boat. Because he's like, even though we made this pact, I still don't fucking trust you.
Okay.
So,
interesting.
Richie is staying in the water until they throw all of the weapons in the water. And then he's like, and after that, we never, ever have to see each other ever again. No cops, no dad. We're done.
Wow.
And everyone agrees. So there's now a montage of Richie treading in the water and Jonah and Sasha throwing everything off the boat. Once they're finished, Richie says, you forgot about my 9-iron downstairs in the closet. So Jonah goes down and he yells back up and he's like, I can't find it. And Richie's like, well, I'm not getting on the boat till you find it. And he's like, I'm looking with one fucking hand. So now Sasha comes over and like looks down the stairs and she sees that Jonah is like, come here, come down here. And trying to like get her to come down. Richie sees this and he's like, do not go fucking down there. I don't know what he's calling you down there for, but he can find the fucking 9-iron by himself. Don't go down there. So she walks away to be in Richie's eyesight again. And finally, Jonah finds the 9-iron and throws it overboard. Cut to Richie back on the boat now. Richie then makes them sit on opposite sides of the table that's downstairs in the living area. Sasha like offers to check Jonah's hand because remember he got fucking speargunned, and he won't even let them sit near each other. Like he's like, don't check his fucking hand. He then grabs the keys, sticks them in the ignition. It won't start. The boat stalls. It won't turn over.
God damn it.
Yep. So now we cut to them at night, still on the boat, in the water, obviously. And it's Sasha trying to use the broken fucking radio that angry Richie pulled out of the fucking wall. Richie then starts like going off and he starts being like, the only reason we're in this position is because you guys called Even Stevens. You guys got this free fucking punch because, you know, even though you guys were cheating on me, blah, blah, blah. What kind of monsters do that? Blah, 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 blah. Like he's feeling like the wrong fucking party somehow. And I'm just like, listen, you're all equally monsters. Okay.
Right.
Nobody's more of a monster than the other. You all are pieces of shit who deserve each other clearly and are in a toxic codependent relationship. So until one of you #therapies, you're all pieces of shit. Does that make y'all feel better? So, and they just kind of start going back and forth. I did this because you did this, because you did this, because you did this. Blah, blah, blah.
I'm exhausted.
And like Richie is just so fucking pissed and he screams at Jonah. He's like, put your hand on the table. So Jonah puts his good hand on the table and he's like, no, the other hand. And he's like, I get to bash your hand, Even Stevens. So Richie stands up and fucking like smashes his harpoon hand on the table. Jonah is like screaming in pain. Sasha then stands up and is like, do you get to punch me too? Like, do you get to hurt me? And she's like, I don't deserve to be punched because it's not just about the cheating. It's about everything you've put me through. So as she's standing there, she's like, Jonah, did he tell you what he did? Did he tell you what he did last year? And we find out Jonah was not only fucking his ex, so cheating on her, but his ex got pregnant.
Richie?
I'm sorry.
What?
Yeah.
Couldn't say words.
Richie was not only fucking his ex and cheating on Sasha, he also got his ex pregnant. His ex wanted to keep the baby so that she would be entitled to some of Richie's dad's money. Richie told Sasha that he would convince her to have an abortion. Instead, Sasha reads in the paper that a pregnant girl was stabbed to death. And that pregnant girl was Richie's ex.
What?
So Richie.
What the fuck?
Yeah. This is what I'm saying. They're all like, everyone is a monster in this fucking thing. So Richie tries to say, he's like, we didn't do it. We meaning like his dad and his dad's cronies or whatever. And he's like, we didn't do it.
I don't believe you.
Right. Neither does Sasha.
You're
because
a monster.
She goes, Sasha's like, how could I believe you? And she's like, I would have left if I didn't believe that you would just kill me too. Jesus. And he's like, I would never do that. And she pulls her shirt back to show like the bruises from him trying to choke her to death. And she's like, really? Richie then has nothing to say, walks away. He goes to an underneath cabinet. Like he just like basically realizes like, okay, she won that argument. He now goes to like an underneath kitchen cabinet and he is looking for something. And he pulls out like a food processor, like one of those little mini food processors, and duct tape. And he says to Jonah, he's like, oh, you conveniently forgot to throw these away? And Jonah's like, yeah, I did. Sorry, dude. And he finds what he was looking for. He pulls out like a little Tupperware, like a little, mini Tupperware. And he takes it over to the sink and he turns the spigot on and tries to fill it. The water fills it up about halfway and then the water's gone. No more water. And they're like, what the fuck? So then he like puts the little Tupperware of water on the table, 3 condiment packets, 3 peanuts, a black banana, fully blackened. I don't know if that's some sort of boat delicacy, but I am not privy to blackened banana.
Mean, we're not boat people, so how could we know?
I mean, clearly. So it's black banana and then and then the little tub of water. And Richie is like, we'll be good for a few days with this. And Sasha's like,
a few days?
No, we won't. We absolutely won't. And she's like, also, I'm not even worried about the food. You can go a long time without food. You can go like 2 weeks without food, but you can go like 4 minutes without water, dude.
Yeah.
And so she's like, what about the showers? Did you try those spigots? And he goes, we didn't fill up the tanks. It was just going to be a day trip. And she goes, okay, what about the life raft? And he goes, we popped that tubing. And she's like, okay, what about the toilet water? And he says, the toilet water is salt water. And she goes, okay, how about we distill it? And he goes, no propane. As I said, I didn't fill it. It was supposed to be a day trip. And then she's like, well, fuck it. I mean, can we fucking swim? And Richie is like, it's too far. And he makes a Jaws reference. He's like, that's the most unrealistic part of Jaws, that they like start swimming back to shore after the shark attack at the very end. He's like, they're fucking dead. I'm like, you don't know? You don't know that they're dead, motherfucker? So Richie is like, but it's fine. Like, shipping vessels come by here all the time. And she goes, okay, so like, what are the odds of a shipping vessel coming by? And he goes, I don't know, 90-10. And she goes, 90% that they'll come? And he's like, yeah. And she goes, okay, those odds aren't so bad. Title card. Part 2. 5 days and no shipping boats later. Aerial of the yacht in the middle of nowhere, like from the very beginning. Now we have the narrator who comes in and is going to give us some lessons in sailing that we very much need to remember. Are you ready?
Okay.
He says, sailing is very, very set to superstition. There are a lot of sailing superstitions, which I did happen to know, but I didn't know some of these superstitions, so we need to make sure that we make note of them. And he says, here's why they're having such bad luck. First, they set sail on a Friday of a long weekend when less ships would be departing. Secondly, it's bad luck to sail on a Friday because it was the day that Christ was crucified. A lot of this, it's interesting, a lot of this sailing superstition is very Christian, which I find strange.
That's interesting.
Thirdly, Richard stepped on board with his left foot rather than his right. that would be where I'd fuck up. Also, Sasha has red hair, which is bad luck on a boat. Redheads are bad luck on a boat.
I mean, what the fuck? That's not her fault.
It's not her fault, but it just means that you can't be a boat person.
Ever be on a boat?
Yeah, or you have to dye it, I guess. Or shave your head. Who knows? Then he says
That's
also
just not fair.
No. Well, this is even less fair. Then he says also no one named Jonah is allowed on a boat because Jonahs are bad luck.
The whale.
That's what I was thinking. Also like a biblical reference, kind of. They also threw the albatross overboard. It's like a little ornament that's on a lot of boats because it's good luck. And he says it's supposed to host the souls of dead sailors, but it was like wrought iron, so they threw that off. Also, Sasha has a black bag. Like her purse is a black bag, and a black bag on a boat is bad luck because it represents death and the depths of the sea. Lastly, bananas, also bad luck on a boat.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I
so like,
need you to postmortem all of these superstitions because what the actual fuck?
And I want to know what all of the superstitions are. Like, I want to know all of them and just have
those
like,
are the most
of
random things.
But what's so interesting is like I bet they all have significance in something. Like the banana one, I bet it's like, you know, a shipping vessel that discovered bananas on another coast, like sunk at sea in the Bermuda Triangle, and all that was left was the bananas. That's the story I'm going with.
And they never brought bananas on boats again.
Yeah. So then the narrator continues. So no ships, no rain to drink, and the current is now taking them further out. So it's not great. And he says, and this is where we begin to flirt with a new kind of friendship, a friendship of survival, where you work together or you're fucked.
Right.
Okay. So now we cut to our three delightful heroes, and they are looking rough. They are looking cracked and just unwell. Richie is throwing golf balls at gulls. Now I'm like, why didn't you throw the fucking golf balls off the side? Like, like of all the things you throw off the side, you'd think the golf balls would be weapons. Yeah. So Jonah's up there.
I'm
like,
sorry. These weapons are only to hurt animals, not humans.
Right. Exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly.
Excuse me.
And so Jonah's like, this is never going to fucking work. You're never going to throw a golf ball at a gull and have it land in front of your feet. And Sasha's like, gosh, really wish we had a harpoon right now. And both the guys go, speargun. And I was like, comedy. So as they're giving Jonah Richie shit, we hear clunk and a gull falls to the deck. And I was like, nice shot. Also, fuck you. The narrator now says, oh, also bad luck to kill seagulls on a boat. So like,
of course it is.
So Richie is like, yes, I'm the king of the boat. We now cut to all of them coming below deck in slow motion. Are they trying
to kill a seagull to try to eat it?
We'll find out. So they go below deck. It's a fucking mess. It's like disheveled as if, you know, 3 people are stranded at sea and are all dying down there together, which coincidentally is exactly what's happening. So he's bringing the gull below deck. Kim, question number 4, what you gonna do now? And what do they do?
Oh my God. I mean, I don't believe they know how to cook a seagull.
Cook. They also don't have any propane or fire or knives or anything.
Oh, right. I don't know. I don't know what to do with the seagull.
Bitch, you gotta do something. Otherwise, you're swan diving into the ocean.
How do I eat a seagull? I've never wanted to eat a seagull before.
Okay, I'll give you one clue.
Have to do it.
Remember, you can survive for several for a couple weeks without food, but you can't survive more than a couple days without water.
Kendrick's giving me crazy eyes right now. Do they drink the seagull? I don't understand. How do I get water from a seagull?
I love that saying.
What's
that old
happening?
saying my grandmother used to say, how do you get water from a seagull?
So you said he brought the seagull downstairs, and that's my question. And then what do we do next? That's what you said?
Yes, ma'am.
How do I get water from a seagull?
How do I get water from a seagull?
This is like
how do
one
I
of those-
drink a seagull? Here's the clue I'll give you is you're giving yourself a clue.
Kendrick's got crazy eyes again. I'm giving myself a clue.
How do you drink a seagull?
How do I drink a seagull? Do they give you... Kendrick's not taking a picture of her crazy-eyed look. They bring it downstairs, and they're like, what the fuck do we do with this now? Oh, okay. We're both gonna fucking food processor it. Is that what we have? A food processor?
We do have a food processor.
We're both gonna do that hand in hand. I don't know. God damn it. What do we have? A food processor, and what was the other thing that he's like, oh, you forgot to throw these out?
Duct tape.
Duct tape. Yeah, we're gonna food processor it.
1 point for you. I actually feel like that's a great idea. So what they do is Richie uses his teeth to take a giant bite out of the seagull's neck.
What?
And he starts draining the seagull's blood into the Tupperware.
What? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What?
And that is how you drink a seagull. But I like yours. I like yours too. If you blend it up, yeah, sure. So we learn that this idea, this whole shebang that they're doing, was Sasha's idea from reading Life of Pi, and she says, I was reminded of this story because of the tiger named Richard Parker, who got the idea from Edgar Allan Poe. And then she says, and oddly enough, I had a boyfriend also named Richard. So now, as she's talking us through this plan that she read or got the idea from in Life of Pi, there's like an old-timey film happening of like what she's describing. So she says, the guy who wrote Life of Pi got the idea from Edgar Allan Poe's short story, Shipwreck. There were 3 dudes who were shipwrecked on a lifeboat. They were lost at sea. And to survive, they caught a sea turtle and drained it of its blood to drink it. But eventually the blood ran out and it wasn't enough, and they still weren't rescued. So the 3 men drew straws to see who they were going to eat. And the old film is happening as she narrates. All the while, Richard in real time is like deboning the gull, like just pulling it apart with his hands. And she says, in Edgar Allan Poe's story, the cabin boy gets the short stick. And she said, so they drink his blood and then they're rescued. And Jonah says, no mention of the mental trauma of eating your friend. And she says, and in Edgar Allan Poe's story, the cabin boy's name was Richard. And Jonah keeps saying, like, cool, yeah, but those are fiction. Like, the cabin boy's name was Richard Parker. It was inspired it inspired the guy who wrote Life of Pi. And so he named the tiger Richard Parker. Like, it's just fiction. And he's like, so I don't know why we're like using these fictional stories to like determine that we're going to survive.
The Boy Scouts Handbook of Survival that you're getting this from.
Exactly. So then Sasha says, wait a minute. 50 years after Shipwreck was written, the actual Shipwreck by Edgar Allan Poe, same story. In real life, 3 men were stranded at sea in a lifeboat. The cabin boy drew the short straw. They ate him and drank his blood and then were rescued. In real life, that cabin boy's name was...
Richard Parker? Richard
fucking Parker.
What?
Yeah, so that, I'm like...
Is any of this
I need to
true?
Postmortem the ever-living...
The fuck out of that.
Fuck out of this.
That's
because I know that the tiger was named Richard Parker in Life of Pi. I know that Edgar Allan Poe wrote a story called Shipwreck, but like I had never read it. But if that and then I want to see if that real story, that's bananas if that's true. So
does I guess so. Does drinking blood count as like as staying alive juice?
Well, yeah, I mean, we as people are made 70% of staying alive juice. Water.
So if I drank more of it, it's equivalent to hydration, basically.
Yeah, because we're made up of water. So it's like even they even say like for cats, like if you have a dehydrated cat, you start feeding them wet food because just the amount of moisture in the wet food is enough to hydrate. So it's like even eating human flesh would be fairly hydrating because we're 70% water. But like mostly the blood. Yeah, like the blood is like mostly water and plasma. So.
But also like, what am I just biting in? Just taking a chunk
We'll find out.
It's like we don't even have pointy teeth. Our teeth aren't made for that.
If you bite hard enough, you can figure it out for sure. But let's
find out.
Yeah, let's see if we learn some things about.
No, I mean in real life. Let's
about
bite each other
cocktails.
until we can rip our skin off. I don't know. I'm just interested. Okay, go on.
So Jonah rightly points out, he goes, cool coincidence that it's a bunch of Richard Parkers, and then we also happen to be, there's one out of 3 of us named Richard.
Right.
Pretty crazy. But I feel like you're missing the part where all of the stories say that the seagull blood is not going to be enough to sustain us and that we're going to have to sacrifice someone. I feel like that's kind of the point of the story that you're missing.
Right.
So Richard has drained as much of the blood from the seagull into the little Tupperware as he can, and he takes several big gulps of the blood. Sasha then stands up, and she, too, takes several big gulps of the blood. And then they're like, Jonah, your turn. And he's like, I don't know if I can do it, man. Like, this is so fucking gross. And Richie, being the asshole that he is like, oh, if you can't do it, that's cool. Don't do it then. It's fine. Don't do it. And Sasha's like, drink the fucking blood.
Right.
So he takes several fucking gulps of it, and immediately, Kim Burns style, barfs it right up. Like the blood did not even touch his
my
stomach.
first time doing an Irish car bomb. Got it.
100%. He fucking Kim Burns Irish car bombed the shit out of that blood. Barfed it
right
all
down, directly back up.
And Jonah is like freaking out, like he's got like the worst taste in his mouth. And of course, Richard thought the same thing that I did, where I'm like, well, what a fucking waste, you idiot. And so Jonah's like, I need something to wash the taste out of my mouth. And I'm like, bitch, if you had something to wash the taste out of your mouth, you would have fucking drank that first.
Have something to drink. Exactly.
And so Richard also points this out and is like, well, we got motor oil and ocean water. And Sasha then says, or urine. And Richard's like, oh, you can still go? I haven't pissed for days. And Jonah's like, I'm not drinking piss. And I'm like, if all you had to drink was piss, you'd drink piss. This isn't a fucking 5-star restaurant where you get to order the special. Like, fuck you. So then Richard remembers something. And he goes, oh, man, I really fucking hope you forgot about this when you were throwing shit off the side. And I'm like, you're the one who told him to throw shit off the side. But also, what is it? He goes into a little back closet and he pulls out a bottle of scotch. And they're like, where did you get that? And he's like, remember, we bought it when we first got the boat. And it's got like their 3 names on it and like the date that they bought the boat. And right as Jonah's like about to chug it, he's like, wait a minute, is the alcohol going to dehydrate me? And they basically are like, yeah. And they're basically like, what choice do we have? Like, we have blood, motor oil, salt water, or this scotch.
Okay.
So Jonah chugs it, hands it to Sasha. She starts chugging it. Richard then takes it back and takes a bunch of chugs, and then they go to like get it back from him, and he's like, no. You can have it back when y'all tell me when you started fucking. And they're like, dude, like, we're about to die. And he's like, no, I'm not even mad. Like, I just want to know. And so Sasha, who's like so fucking thirsty, she's like, oh, fuck it. And she like takes the bottle and she's like, New Year's. You passed out for the 1,000,000th time. Jonah and I were up cleaning up your mess for the 1,000,000th time, and it just happened. Plus, I was drunk. And Jonah says, dude, that makes it sound like I took advantage of you. And Jonah now takes the scotch from her, and Sasha's like, does that make it better for you? To Richie. And Richie says, how many times? And Sasha says, once, I swear. But there's like this look between her and Jonah. So like we just clock a look. And then he says, okay, what did I catch you guys arguing about? Tell me the truth. And Sasha goes to answer and he goes, no. I want to hear from you, Jonah. So lots of looks, clocking all kinds of looks. Jonah takes the bottle of scotch and he says, she and I, he takes a big swig.
What?
And he says, you know, when we dropped those urns today of my parents, I just kept thinking, why aren't I more upset? He was like, I just didn't care. There was no nostalgia. And he looks at Sasha and he says, we were arguing because I just thought she and I could go off together is all. But she said if we did, you and your dad would come after us. And he hands the bottle back to Richie.
Okay.
Richie is then looking at the bottle, and we see their 3 names written on the bottle with the date, and he smudges Jonah's name off of it. And then Richie looks up and says, who was better? And they're like, oh my God, dude. And he goes, no, I'm not mad. He's like, it's cathartic. So she wants the scotch. So she grabs it and she looks at Jonah and she says, sorry. And then she turns to Richie and says, you were. And Jonah's like, what the fuck? And Richie's like laughing hysterically now. And she's like, you're soft. Like, you're vanilla. And she's like, I'm sure there's plenty of girls out there that want really dependable vanilla sex.
Oof.
And Richie is like laughing his ass off, and Jonah is like floundering, and he's like, well, I mean, I didn't have time. Like, it was just the one time. So like, I didn't have a chance to like learn what you're into. And, you know, you don't want to just dive right into the kinky stuff. Like, you know, you want to start vanilla. And she goes, Jonah, I cheated on my long-term boyfriend with his best friend. I guarantee you the last thing I was looking for was classic safe vanilla. Mm-hmm. And Jonah is like super butthurt and takes the bottle of scotch and goes, fine, you have a weird sex face. And Richie then starts laughing again. And now they're both laughing at her. And he's like, you do have a fucking weird sex face. It looks like you're about to sneeze at all moments. And she's like, fuck you guys. And then she turns to Richie and she's like, when you're on top of me, it's a fucking monsoon of sweat. And he's like, it's not that bad. I used to date a guy where it was quite literally a monsoon of sweat. And I was just like, I really just need to just leave my body for until goodbye, body.
Like your eyes are just like, it's like burning your eyes. You're like, ow.
Well, no, yes, that is accurate. It would burn my eyes. It was, or like drop in my mouth. It was, I really just had to go into like a Zen state of mind.
You're like, let's just try a different position.
Yeah.
Where you're like that on top of my face.
Yeah. So, or can we just lay a towel down, perhaps, on top of me, between us?
Between us.
So, you know those sheets that Mormons have sex through? Why don't we try that? Okay. So they're all laughing now. And they're kind of obviously a little buzzed too, because their only hydration is liquor.
Gosh.
And Jonah kind of like leans down on his hand and he's like, ah, fuck. And they're like, open up the bandage. And they open it up and it is not a good wound. It does not look like it is coagulating or scabbing or healing or anything. In fact, it appears to be doing the opposite. So question number 5, what do you do and what do they do?
I guess maybe here are my 2 thoughts. Clean it with either the scotch, although I feel like we need that to drink, but doesn't salt water clean stuff? Kitchen won't answer me. Creep face. I think salt water cleans things. So I'm going to go with we both salt water it.
Double ding-a-ling dong, bitch.
Woo! Finally.
Yeah. So alcohol does clean it, but they have the same thought where they're like, we need this for hydration. We can't drink salt water. So he goes and like puts it in the ocean. So now Sasha and Richie are left alone. And she says she doesn't feel bad. He's like, do you feel bad about how this went down? She says, I don't feel bad about anything. And like, basically she's like, you cheated on me. I cheated on you. I don't see that I am any more in the wrong than you are. And frankly, like, you murdered your ex. So,
yeah, and you're a monster on so many levels.
Yeah. And so she asks him again, did you kill her? And she's like, we're all being honest. We're all telling the truth. And he looks at her and says, I already told you we didn't do it. But he looks like he did it. But that's what he said.
Of course he did it. He's
so
a
now we
orange
cut
monster
to
scrote Chad.
Yeah. So now orange monster scrote Chad. Orange monster scrote Chad. I like that. That's nice. Covers all the bases. So cut to ominous music, nighttime, boat in the middle of nowhere, SOS on the bow. Jonah is writhing and dreaming and gasping in pain from his hand. Like just semi-conscious, horrible, excruciating pain. And they go over and they look at his hand and the wound appears to be like crawling up his arm. So the wound, which I'm sure you can picture, was like a stigmata wound, like right here.
Yeah.
And it's crawling up his arm. So Sasha says, we got to stop the infection from reaching the heart. Kim, question 6, what do you do and what do they decide to do?
We got to stop it from reaching his heart.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I want to just chop his hand off, but like, how do I do that? We don't have any weapons.
Right.
How can I stop a wound from moving?
I'm really enjoying this. Sammy's, you can't see this, but Kim and I are really I'm just having so much fun with this video thing.
Just a game for us too. There's like a little circle space like made by her wire from the microphone thing, and so she just keeps poking her head in with like little fucking faces every time she asks a question. How can I stop a wound from growing? I guess the only thing I can think of is to like tie it off. What's that called? To
tourniquet
it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna because we don't have any sharp things and we don't have fire things. I'm gonna say that we both tourniquet it. Final answer.
Oh shit! Sorry, that was
double ding.
No. That was 2 half points. 2 half points. That's why I got confused. 2 half points.
Fair.
Tourniquet, yes, but you do have a weapon. You have a glass liquor bottle. So, Sasha says she breaks the scotch bottle, and Jonah
scotch left, or they're out.
They're either out or they poured it into the Tupperware. Like they're not going to waste the scotch, but like, you know,
just wondering if there was more for later.
Good call. Yes, I'm sure that that didn't seem to be an issue, so they had either finished it or. Okay, so Jonah is like, no, I don't like where this is going. He's like, look, I'm fine. So he tries to hold his hand above his heart and make a fist, but he's like, it looks like he's about to barf in pain. And Jonah and Richie and Sasha just look at him, and finally he can't do it anymore, and he like pulls his hand back, screams in pain. He's like, it feels like ants crawling through my veins.
Ah!
Yeah. So Sasha is now like, Richie, give me your belt. And Jonah's still trying to fight it. And Sasha is like, if this reaches your heart or your brain, you are dead. So Richie gives her his belt. Jonah then whispers something in Sasha's ear that we can't hear. But it makes Sasha have a face of like, what the fuck, dude? And she just says, just kind of moves past it. Richie's like, what did he say? And she's like, just give me your fucking belt. So she tourniquets his arm, and she's about to cut it with glass when Richie says, wait. What does he want her to wait for so that he can do something first? What is it?
Wait, I gotta do this first. So she's gonna
cut him open.
Mm-hmm. He says, Catchin's face.
This is so much fun.
Wait. I fucking Richie's such a scrote that like I don't even know if he's like wait to do something helpful or wait to be an asshole or wait for something selfish. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what direction he would go because he's such a fucking
I hear
piece
you.
of shit.
He's pretty directionless.
Wait. I'm gonna
Yes?
Maybe fucking I don't know.
You are so fucking sharked and narked right now, dude. Like, you
I have no idea. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just chopping the fuck off. I don't know what we have to wait for. Except that we should all just die. We're all dumb idiots.
Is that your final answer? We should all just die?
We should all just die. I also like, I'm like, what are you going to do once it's off? Because then can he like bleed? Are they cutting it off? Like, are they going to, when he bleed to death? Like, you don't have a...
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'll say. None of their options since quite a few choices ago are optimal.
Great.
Like none of them are like all of them have their downfalls for sure. So I think if you're looking for like the perfect answer, you'll never find that.
Right. Okay.
You just got to do your best. Kind of like all of us in quarantine. Listen,
I'm going to say,
just got to do our best.
He's going to duct tape him. And I am too. But I don't even know why.
0 points.
I just wanted to give an answer versus just saying I give up. But I basically gave up.
So he grabs the little Tupperware. And Sasha's like, are you fucking serious? And he goes, what? I'm fucking thirsty. He knows that he's going to bleed and they will be able to drink it.
I did think about that, but I thought it would be infected blood. So that's why I thought that was a bad idea.
Sasha says the same thing. And again, that's why I was like, no choice is optimal, because she literally says his blood might be toxic, but I don't fucking know anymore. Like, she's like, yeah, the blood might be toxic, but also what the fuck?
Right, we're dying.
Like, you know, yeah.
Fucking goddamn it. Okay. That fucking crossed my mind. Should have just said it.
So she makes the cut and Jonah loses it. Like, jumps directly out of his skin and like Richie is like trying to like catch the blood, but it's going everywhere but inside the Tupperware. And they realize, like, okay, this isn't going to work. Like, there's no way to, like, restrain a grown man enough to chop his arm off with a shard of glass.
Right, for sure.
And have him not bleed out. So, but it was, I mean, what else? Like, the reason you got half points for, like, trying to tourniquet it, like, even though it didn't work, it's like, what other option do you have? Otherwise, like, the infection will 100% crawl up his arm. Like, there's not really another way around it.
Right.
So you got to at least try. So they back away. Richard keeps trying to get the blood. Sasha goes and gets the duct tape now. And she duct tapes like where she did in fact make a cut, tapes his arm up. And then they all drink his blood. Jonah then rolls over and we get... I wrote acoustic doomed music is the sound that was happening, which I feel like you can hear. It's acoustic, but that. it's doomed. And so now it's just shots of boat just out in the ocean. Just there is nothing but water and this boat. Cut to barf coughing. Jonah, it's the next day, is barf coughing into the toilet like crazy. Richie and Sasha are above board, and she's like, I just think he's septic now. Like, his blood is, he has sepsis. Like, there's just nothing to be done about it. And Richie is like, can we eat him if he dies? And Sasha's like, no. And Richie's like, no, he's inedible, or no, you won't eat him. And she's like, we're not eating him. And Richie is like, listen, like, I think it's time, like, we can draw straws. Like, I'll raise one for you so you don't pick it. And Sasha says, you know what? You two fucking deserve each other. Last night, do you know what he whispered to me? He asked if I considered using the glass on you rather than him. And she walks off. Richie then looks after her and his anger music comes on. His heartbeat, rage of heartbeat, heartbeat of rage. We now cut to Richie laying awake in bed at night, listening to Jonah writhing in pain. Sasha is also laying awake. Jonah is so sick. Like, his face is like turning colors now. Like, his body is rotting from the inside, but he's still alive. So now his entire arm is fucked up and looks like one giant wound. Sasha goes over to him to like wake him up and like help him breathe. She's just like, just take a deep breath. And he kind of like mumbles something to her that like didn't totally make sense, but like he's also like septic and whatever. And he's like, you're not being honest with me, are you? Richard Parker. And Richie hears them whispering, and he's like, what the fuck are you whispering about? And like, he loses his mind and goes back into like, she fucking picked me, dude. Just give it up. And he's like, just tell her you love her already. And Jonah's like, unlike you, who still cheats on her. And we now know that Sasha thought that he cheated on her once, not that he's still fucking cheating on her. And I, at this point, I'm like, why do any of you give a shit? Like,
I don't know.
Who fucking cares?
I don't know.
So Richie is then like, fucking idiot. Like, just like knowing that he like lost that battle again. And Jonah says, you're the fucking idiot. I'd do anything for her. Richie then turns to Jonah and says, and you sure did do anything, didn't you? And Sasha says, what is he talking about? And Richie says to Sasha, you're scared of what you think I did? It's what he did to my ex.
What?
Sasha looks terrified. Jonah looks at Sasha and he starts trying to explain himself. And he's like, hey, it was an accident. He's like, I knew that if she didn't have the abortion, you would leave him. And then you'd be gone. You wouldn't be around anymore. And I couldn't lose you. And he's like, so I went there. I went there to try to convince her to have the abortion. And she wouldn't listen.
I'm sorry, sir, but that logic, that logic doesn't work for me.
It's faulty.
I'm gonna hard pass that one.
It's faulty. It's
so
faulty logic.
If she doesn't have the abortion, then Sasha will stay with Richie.
Yeah.
And so you need, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I wouldn't try to dive too deep in it because I think you'll realize it's a pretty shallow pond.
Right. Okay.
So
anyway, but he didn't mean to. It was an accident. Okay.
Theoretic is what he says.
I hate when Sasha I accidentally stab people to death. It's the fucking worst.
I do too. Like they just fall like into my knife over and over and over again.
I know. God
so
damn
it's so crazy. So at this point, Sasha starts backing away. The boys start screaming at each other. And Jonah's just like, I have nothing. You have no idea what it's like to work for everything in your life, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, your priorities are bananas, which is also bad luck. So what the fuck?
Zing.
Like, I cannot believe you're having a fight about this right now. Like, it could not matter less.
Yeah.
And so Sasha finally realizes this, and she cuts through the yelling and says, I think we should draw straws. Cut to them sitting in a circle. Richie has the straws. It's not actually straws. It's like little pieces of wire or whatever. I don't know. And he says, is everyone clear on the rules? And he says, no begging, no pleading. This is so the other two can continue to live. Now, in my head, I'm like,
I mean,
Jonah's going to die.
Not to be a dick. Exactly. Like, I'm like,
Jonah is out.
I agree. I mean, he's not my least favorite of the three, but I don't love him either. You know, I don't even care who I like the most at this point. I'm like, you're going to die. Like, you don't need to draw straws.
Yeah. Like, and I also think, like,
but you're already done.
And it's like, here's what I know. I know that you're not going to survive this. So, like, drinking one of the other two healthy people's blood is not going to save you.
No.
Now, drinking your blood might kill them. But there's like this 50-50 shot versus 100% you're going to die, dude. Like that's, you know. Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I guess from his perspective, it's like, or from their perspective, it's like a rescue ship could come by like now.
Any moment.
In which case, you know, maybe, which is literally not something I thought of till right this very second. That may be where their head is. That it's like, maybe he will be saved. Maybe, you know, whatever. So,
but like, I mean... Not really. Like,
I also just like, if I was Jonah, I'd be like, oh my God, please. You know what? This actually really works out for me. Can you just kill me? Because I'm fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be like, this is great. So, Richie holds the straws out to Sasha first. Then Jay. and Jonah can like barely see or move. Like he's just like already dead. And as he pulls it from Richie's hand, he's just like, fuck you. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, save your breath. Like, you literally don't have much of it. So like, don't waste it saying fuck you. Like, we get it. Okay. So Jonah opens his hand. He has a long straw. Richie opens his hand. He has a long straw. Jonah now starts pleading. And he's like, no. Like, don't do this. Like, we need to draw again. And Richie's like, we said no begging. He's like, I'm begging for her. This doesn't count. And he's like, if you're so fucking offended, offer yourself then. Which I was like, yes, like, do the right thing, dude. So Jonah doesn't offer himself. Richie asks Sasha, are you able to do it yourself? And she says that she can't. And he goes, okay. Then the two of us will draw straws again to see who has to take her out. Jonah says, fine, but you get to pick this time. Even Steven. And I'm like, oh my God, this fucking Steven. So Jonah's now holding the straws, two of them. Richard picks long. Jonah starts laughing. And he's like, wow, just literally everything always comes up even for you, doesn't it? And Sasha is like, can you just get it over with? So Jonah grabs the piece of glass. Question number 8. What does Jonah do and what do you do?
I feel like Jonah ends up cutting Richie.
Okay.
Or at least trying to. I don't know how successful he is at it, but
I mean, he is mostly dead, so.
Right. So, but I feel like he like does a little switcheroo, like
okay.
I'm a pretend like I'm going to be like, I'm going to cut her.
That was great. That was great mime work. Nice job. What do you do?
Oh my God. I mean, Jesus Christ. It doesn't matter to me. They all are hard.
Right?
Just like, okay.
I'm like, I'm dead. You're dead. We're all dead. Who cares?
We're all dead. Yeah. I guess, what do? I do need someone's blood. And we're all like in agreement that it'll be Sasha. So as much as I hate Richie more and think he's the worst and he should definitely die, it seems like it'll keep the peace more if I just cut Sasha and drink her blood.
That is a double motherfucking ding, bitch.
Hell yeah.
Nice work. Exactly. If you are trying to stay alive, keep the peace. Sasha is resigned to her fate. Richie, like, it's your best shot to just, like, go your separate ways and hope that you're rescued. Your best shot. Jonah does do the good old switcheroony.
Switcheroony.
He fucking picks up the glass and stabs Richie right in the neck. Forever and ever and ever and ever. But it's not like stabbing over and over. It's literally just like stabbing him and then like pushing the glass into his neck forever. And there is blood everywhere. And I just wrote, where's the Tupperware?
I know. I was like, catch the blood, catch the blood.
Somebody get the Tupperware.
They're all just like, it's like you're catching raindrops with your tongue. You're just like,
right? I just licked my screen. It was really gross.
I did a little bit
okay.
too.
It's very
We got really into that.
Yeah. So Richie is dead as a doornail. Just the deadest of all deads. Deader than Jonah. Jonah then turns to Sasha and just says, hey, you okay? And Sasha's like, what is my fucking life? Get me the fuck out of here. And she just looks completely terrified. Jonah looks happy as a goddamn clam and just says, you hungry? And he stands her up and leads her over, not to Richard's body, but to the stairs going up to the deck. And he then opens a little cupboard that's in the stairs. We see a flashback of when he was looking for the 9-iron and he was trying to get Sasha to come down. We see that he saw that there was a little divot in one of the stairs, and we see him open it, and he pulls out now in real time 4 sleeves of Oreos, all this food. And so he says to Sasha, he's like, I found these when I was looking for the golf club, like as if everything is fine. He tells her to sit down and enjoy your cookies. And she just looks terrified. And then he says, oh, and hey, check this out. So he walks over to Richard and pushes him over and goes, excuse me, and gets something from under his pillow. And then he walks back over to Sasha and sits down. And he's holding something really small. And he says, the fuse box is under there, too, with the cookies. This little guy is the whole reason the boat wouldn't start.
What? Shut the fuck up.
Yep. And he
says, my gosh. You're crazy, Jonah. Oh, God.
So crazy.
Oh, God.
So crazy.
Oh, no.
And he says,
oh, God.
So now she's on the boat with a crazy person.
And
oh,
my God.
He says, it gave us a chance to get rid of him for the lie detector. And he says, I mean, it's just shitty luck with my arm and you pulling the short straw. And isn't it fucked how he was just willing to let you die? And he's like, but none of that matters anymore. We can run away now together. You said that. You said we could get the cash in the closet. You said that. Remember? You said that? And Sasha looks at him and says, I thought what I said was you could get the cash. And he goes, you aren't going to come? Question number 9. What do you say?
Yeah, I'm coming. Yeah, of course I'm fucking coming, bro. Yeah, crazy man. I'm with you. We're in love together. Hello. I've never been so in love with anyone but you right now in this moment.
Those are your wedding bells.
Let's get off this fucking boat. Anything I need to say to get off this boat with you.
All of those ring-a-ding-ding wedding bells.
I gotta say,
Jonah,
he took like a little bit of a risk with the whole drawing straws thing because like it could have come up many different ways.
Yeah. I mean, I guess if his intention, I mean, I think that's why you said like didn't work out perfectly because like you did shoot me in the hand with a harpoon and you drew the short straw. Like this didn't quite work out.
But like he could have drawn the short straw.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what would he have done then?
Would have eaten him. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay.
So
wow. Wowzers. Okay.
Yeah. So she says, of course I am. He smiles and says, well, eat up. I'll get us home as soon as possible. And he says, and we'll just say we found the fuse after we drew straws. So his plan is that, like, we got stranded at sea, blah, blah, blah. We didn't find the fuse until after we'd, whatever. Exactly what I said. I don't know why I needed to explain that to you because it's literally
I understood the plan. I
realized that. Yeah.
Thanks for reiterating it, though.
You're welcome. So he then walks away and goes up above deck.
And then she proceeds to eat 40 Oreos.
40 fucking Oreos, which is exactly what you or I would do. Yeah. And then she puts 60 of them in the blender to have a little Oreo water. And then mixed with the little of Richie's blood.
Some blood,
of
course.
Just to get
Of
some,
course.
Of course.
Right. Some hydration.
So, exactly. So he walks away, gets the boat started. Sasha's still below deck, just terrified with a box of cookies on her lap. She then gets
I don't
up.
know why I wanted to say been there, but
Been there. After my boyfriend was murdered by his best friend who's psycho, and we've been stranded on a boat for 5 days, and I find secret Oreos. Man,
with
who
Oreos?
hasn't been there?
I don't know why. I just felt it for some reason, but
Yeah.
maybe it was a past life.
It could be. Yeah. So she then walks above deck and she looks out over the ocean. Here comes Jonah, and he stands in front of her and says, "You ready?" And she looks at him and she brushes his hair out of his face. Question 10. What do you do? And what does she do?
Where are we?
We're on deck, and she's looking out over the ocean, and he comes down. So it's like a 3-level yacht. Like up at the top is where like you would drive the boat. Then it's like the deck where you're like walking around, hanging out, and then below deck is like the living quarters. So she's on the second level. Jonah comes down from the top level. She's looking out over the ocean, and he comes in front of her and says, "Are you ready?"
So are we by the edge?
Close-ish, yeah.
I think my thoughts are that she either like kisses him and is like, "Yeah, I'm in," or
Yeah.
or throws him over the edge.
Okay.
But I think right now
Those are two very different choices.
those are different choices. Yeah. Oof, man, it's a tough one because you know, it'd be best to just get rid of him in this moment. Although, I don't know who believes me then.
Right.
And I'm the only. But then we get back to land, and then he's still crazy McGee.
Right.
I still think in this moment, it's best for us both to... Oh, okay, wait. Ooh, or another option C.
Oh, do tell.
She brushes his hair, looks dreamily into his eyes, and then stabs him.
Oh. Yes,
Ooh.
that is option C.
Ooh. That one's feeling good. God damn it. What does she do?
Oh, so were you saying that you were going to stab him?
And I haven't decided for either of us. I just know that it's one of those 3 things as my thoughts.
Gotcha. You know what? I'm just going to take a quick little snoozer, and you let me know when you're done. I'll just set an alarm for approximately when I think you're done, so about 2.5 hours.
It's a tough call. How do I stay alive? I mean, she brushes his hair aside, and then I think I'm going to stab him. He's already basically dead.
Okay.
And if I stab him in the fucking throat, like, there's no chance that he can do anything to me.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you can stab a ghost, he's almost completely dead.
Right. I feel good about that.
So, sorry, you stab him or you both stab him?
I'm going to stab him.
Okay.
You know what? She's got spunk. I'm gonna say hand in hand. Let's do it.
That's a 0.5 point.
God damn it.
So she doesn't stab him. She punches him off the boat as hard as she possibly can.
I told you it was one of those 3.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell you why you didn't get a point until a couple seconds when I get to the end and you find out why she didn't get a point. So, or why you don't get a point for stabbing him.
Got it.
So, she punches him off the boat, and the narrator comes in and says, he freeze frames like as he's falling off the boat, and the narrator comes in and says, "They say the sea finds all your secrets." Secrets? Secrets is what the secrets of the sea. They say the sea finds all your secrets. Between that and his bad luck name, fair to say that Jonah had this coming. Splash! Whippity, 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 whippity. He falls directly into the propeller, and his arm is sawed off, and he's now even deader than he was dead before.
Goodbye.
So now it's just Sasha on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha walks up to the steering wheel.
Uh-huh.
She sees the compass.
I'm concerned.
She looks out over all the sides for land, looks at the controls, looks at the throttle. Question 11, final question. How would you operate that throttle? And how does she operate that throttle?
With my hands. How does she operate that throttle? I mean,
would she do it with? No, if I can't give you a clue, or I'll give it away.
Okay, I'm gonna say I will operate it gently.
Okay. And how does she operate it?
I'm gonna say she operates it aggressively and maybe with too much thrust. Okay.
Correctamundo. Here is why you did not get a point for keeping Jonah alive till you get back to land.
Okay.
Clearly, this bitch don't know how to drive a boat.
Right.
Because she takes that throttle and she goes ramming it right up into all the way gear throttle land.
That's not how you operate a boat.
No. So what happens then? The boat jerks forward.
Yeah.
She falls backwards into the water off the boat and watches the boat glide away on that full throttle thrust. She thrusted herself.
Great.
The narrator then says, and while we don't know the reason behind the redhead superstition, it definitely holds true here. Cut to her in the water, treading, and she just goes, "Fuck!"
That's
Credits. Credits. The end.
Wow.
Yeah, a real romp.
Wow. I mean, I guess they're all dead, eh?
A real hilarious romp.
Did you count them as all dead?
What?
Did you count them as all dead?
I did.
Or you count Sasha as alive?
There's no fucking... I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, I guess there's a small chance that, like, right at that moment, a rescue boat comes through, but, like, you can literally see the horizon for miles and miles and miles all the way around you, and there's, like, no ships on the horizon.
Right. Wow. So they're all dead. All right. I'm okay with that. I guess that's cool. Fine.
Yeah.
Man.
All right.
Wow. That's why I love. I just feel like, how come? I mean, I feel like I'm no shipstress, which we've already discussed this entire tale. But even I know not to thrust a throttle that hard.
Clearly.
That's just
like it was
with all throttles.
Well, it's also we've just like seen
you gotta ease it in gently a little,
right?
Mm.
Ooh, Ooh. Kim, are you using your chainsaw sound to be the sound of a boat throttle?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did it work? No.
That felt a little pandery,
forced.
as we say.
It was forced. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize to everyone. I take it back.
It's quite all right. It's okay. Yeah, okay, let me total your points. You process that.
Hi, Sammies. So we heard a rumor that you're not signed up for our awesome Patreon yet.
What? Where are you getting your bone con then?
It's cool. It's fine. You can still subscribe. Just hit the link in the show notes or search for us on Patreon. We're right there.
We've got all kinds of bone con.
That's bonus content.
We've got mini-sodes, postmortems, and Q&As, all live streamed. Polls, prizes, merch, and just a general smorgasbord of KKSAM.
So join us.
Or else.
Okay, Ms. Burns. So you got 2 out of 3 on your Dead or Alives. Out of 22 points, you got 12.5 plus your 3 points for Dead or Alive, 2 out of 3. You got 14.5 out of 25 points. You really picked up steam, no pun intended. You really went full throttle at the end.
The end. Yeah, I did start
sure.
to figure it out a little bit, but I was not doing well in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like the beginning, you're just kind of like, who's the asshole? You know?
Right.
And it's tough to decipher because they're all kind of shitty
people.
people.
Like, oh, it's all of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was Harpoon. We got sharked and narked. Harpooned
I did
and
a little
spooned.
sharked and narked. I don't like being stuck places.
Yeah. I just thought it was so funny that I like loved Tucker and Dale. I liked this. It was good, but I just think it's so funny that I was like, "Oh, another horror comedy," and I was like, that word comedy. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I just want to have fun.
Yeah, like it's like I feel like that happens a lot where it's like if there is a laugh or a joke in something, people are like, "It's a comedy." I'm like, "No, like." Normal people say jokes sometimes, like in the middle of a fucking tragedy. That doesn't like make it a comedy. And I feel like that's what it was. It was like, we've got this whole quirky freeze frame narrator thing. And I'm like, no, that's a style choice. But it wasn't like you weren't cracking jokes.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so.
That was fun, though. I had fun.
It was fun. It was good. It was definitely a twisteroo. A real
for sure
twisty twister there. For
sure. I really didn't. There was a couple twisteroos where I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. But I was definitely like,
So
all of these people are just like all toxic.
Yeah.
Like they're just, she's like the least toxic, but even
For
that,
sure.
I'm like, you like enable and perpetuate this codependency, and you're definitely comfortable with the money that he showers upon you. It's a whole,
definitely
you're better
the least
off.
toxic, but yeah, they all could use some hashtag therapy.
Yeah.
You know.
Some
For sure.
maritime therapy. Some therapy.
Yes.
I'll see myself out.
You could see yourself out. Thank you.
Yep.
Well, that
You're
was
welcome.
fun. Thanks, Betters.
Thank you for listening.
What else do we have to tell you? We've got more new merch.
Oh
we
my
still
God,
have
so
our
much more new
merch
merch.
About hashtag stay home, hashtag stay alive, which is still 50% going to charity. And then we've got a new Where's Paul shirt.
Where's Paul?
Where's
two
Paul?
Two designs of Where's Paul.
Yeah, and then we have a couple more in the Worky Poos. So check out that. You can follow us at KKSAM Podcast on social medias.
Yep.
Yes.
We also have really fun stuff going on over at Patreon.
Ooh, yeah. Lots of live videos.
We're going live a whole bunch and are always, trying to come up with cool things for our patrons over there. So go check that out. So I think that's it. We'll post if we have any more, viewing parties or whatever. Oh, but Sims TV. So in 2 days, 2 days from when you're listening to this right now in your earballs, Friday, April 24th, we're going to be on Sims TV. So we'll have the show notes. Kim will put them in the show notes so you can have a link to it.
And other than that, do the thing. I almost said rescribe.
Rescribe.
Please,
rate,
if you could
review,
just rate,
rescribe.
review, rescribe. That would be great. 3 R's. The 3 R's that are most important in podcasting. rate, review, rescribe. Thank you so much.
This has been
I hope everyone
Kim and Kat
is
Stay Alive.
doing great. Maybe.
You know what? We got a little mixed up there. Kim doesn't maybe hope everyone's doing great. She was completing the end of our podcast.
I hope everyone's doing great, staying safe. We love you so much. We're sending you all our love.
Maybe.
Definitely. So this has been Kim and Kat Stay Alive.
Maybe.
Definitely. So until next week.
Stay alive.
Stay alive.
Possibly.
Ghosted me. I'm done.